Hello and welcome to Dell's Gaming. I'm Dell and the game today is From the Depths. It's a open access game on Steam. Link will be in the description below if you want to check it out. But basically it is a block and based building game with physics engines, so you can build ships, submarines, planes and put them either against other ships in a multiplayer mode or single player. There's a designer side which allows you to create the planes, the vehicles in the first place, or run a campaign. So to start this off, we will be, or I will be playing the campaign. The campaign may change because this is a in alpha effectively, so the campaign has got changes coming ahead, and we'll continue with the existing campaign until the changes make it not possible. One thing about the game, there is bugs. It's alpha, and alpha will be alpha just as beta will be beta, so we've got to expect bugs and possibly some reloads or even loss of parts of the games, etc. But we'll try and keep that to a minimum if I can. Okay, so first thing, playing this campaign, this is not going to be a how to quickly beat the computer. I tend to have a scenario or role play that I like to have on my games, and set myself a target, just making it a little bit more difficult for myself, but it's fun and it gives me a focus for when I'm building ships or playing the game. So on this particular one, I think we'll primarily look at underwater vehicles or low running vehicles. We will have some planes, but the majority I think will be low or underwater vehicular, and potentially because of that using a lot of missiles and torpedoes for offense. As we progress, that might have to change as we come across more powerful enemies and find that we have to start going into lasers or big cannons and other such niceties. But for the moment, I will try to stick to the idea of underwater, low water, submersible vehicles with missiles. Right, so let's start the campaign. So in the campaign we've got a few options, and we're going to leave this relatively standard. Now I'm going to increase the block count. The enemy growth factor is how quickly our enemies grow. I'm going to leave that as the standard. I think one's okay at the moment. I've not gone through a complete campaign, so I can't call myself very experienced, but I don't want to make it too easy. Max blocks spawned. Now this is for battles, and because every ship is made from the blocks, if you've got too many blocks, the battle will slow down and the game will slow. I've got a reasonable machine. I think I can increase this a little to get this somewhere closer. Which will be high-end machine. I'm prepared to have a slow game and playing it. The lag might be bad, but I'll speed it up in the video if needed. Resources given by destroying enemies. So we have to harvest some of the materials, but if we destroy enemy vehicles we get items back. So we'll leave that high. I like to get resources from killing and destroying other ships rather than necessarily capturing them or just resource mining. Okay, so let's begin the campaign. So this is the starting fortress that they give you by default. I'll just have a look at it from out here. So as you can see, there is they've given it a nice big radar antenna, a simple little gun, and some various bits with an engine and basic resourcing. So mining, you see the big ring, that's your resource, that's the resource ring. you only mine resources when you're inside the ring, so that's an obvious one. And you can see they've got some resource tentacles going down and taking the resources out. So if we look at the map, zoom out, right, so oops, no, so let's not do that. That's a got quite a large map here, not as, you know, main areas, and all we can see now, because of a fog of war basis, is what our radar dish on the fort can see. So currently that's not too much really. So let's just make sure I don't want that starting with. I want the starting fortress, make sure that is staying there. Okay, so you can see our resources are going up, but slowly. Now I must admit myself, I don't like this starting fortress. There's a lot of excessive materials used in it, and you don't need that at this level. So what I am going to do is basically destroy it and restart with a smaller version, less resource hungry, that I can set up and allows me to go, do much more at the very beginning. Now I am going to destroy a few bits and pieces just to give me some resources that I need for the next stage. Okay, now I'm going to get my little character onto this little handy starting rib here. There you go. There we go. There you go. Let's get in the chair. Now, what I will add to the back of this is going to be a scrapper. Now the scrapper, if I can remember where it is, allows me to scrap a vehicle and take all of the resources and put it into my pool of resources that are available. Whoops, that's so if we now take the starting fortress, scrap and turn repairs off. Go. So now we should see the fort has just been scrapped. Yeah, and we destroy it, and you can see down below we now have a lot of resources suddenly increased. 42,000, 22. Look at all that metal. That's what was missing before. Now, get rid of that. Now what we need to do is spawn a new, we need some tentacles to build it. We need to spawn a new fortress. So this is where I can choose my starter fort. I think is the just make sure I haven't got another one. No, starter fort I think will be the one. Right, so now we're going to have to spawn this out quite a bit of distance from me, and we're going to hold it there until it's 99% done. I think will be fine. So if I now let's just see, if I load starter fort, we should see there's a block, and these are now quite happily starting to build this fort. Now I may have made it a little close. Let's see if we start getting a problem. If we start getting a problem, then I will move away. Now let's go to my character, because he can help with this whole spawning and building. So now the idea is to build a nice, less resource hungry unit. Let's see, so we've got a lot of wood being used, which is more efficient in general. Oops, now it's going a little crazy, so I'm going to release this thing. Hopefully it will settle down in a little while. That's a little crazy. So it's going to take a little while to build, so I will possibly fast forward it until it's built and back in the resource area, and then we can see how much resources we have left at that point. Okay then, back. The starter fort was built, but yes, well, it seems to be somewhat at an angle. Drat. That's not what was ideal. So let's see if we can take it out of play, and that usually on the map, if we point at the fort and take it out of play and then put it back in play. Yes. Oh, well, no, but at least it's now level. Okay, that's a good starting point. So I can now put it back into the resource ring. So if we just find the chair and get into it, and here I am in my little base, my little guy. Let's get to the third person. Let's just go forward and get over to that area. So T forward, and now it's not fast, to say the least. Oops, that's good. That's just going up. It's you I need. So let's go forward. Now at height, with fortresses, the higher you go, the more power it takes. Height can be advantageous when staying away from things like torpedoes or other type of ground elements, but at the moment we don't need that. We're not going to be too worried. Now it's not wanting to move at this second, so for some reason my fortress is not moving. It's moved to the side. Yeah, it's got left and right. Okay, let's try taking it up a little. It doesn't like being in the water. And then let's try going forward. Is this actually moving at all? Yes, it is moving. Okay, it is moving. It's just very slow. So, as you can see, fortresses are not necessarily a fighting ship. Now, okay, you can hear the engines have started. Now, that is basically meaning it's in the resource ring, but I want to get nearer the centre, so let's just get myself in a nice position where I can see where the hell I am. Yes, need to go a bit further forward, I think. I like being in the centre if I possibly can. All close to the centre. That's yeah, a little more. That's possibly good enough for the moment. So if we go back to the seat, and we can have a little wander around. So as you can see, it's just a nice big area, starting position. The tentacles are out, harvesting the resources. As you can see down the bottom, the oil and other items have gone up, and also we did increase from scrapping the original starter fort. We have managed to get quite a nice starting resources. Now I'm going to take this height down to, let's see, ooh, we're getting a little bit of water on it. Let's just take it down to 5 meters. It's obviously not quite balanced enough. It's not quite level, but the weight is mainly near the back. Now these trays are crystal growth trays, and they are going to increase crystal, because crystal we need for things like AI and other niceties. Now, don't need that starter rib anymore, so we're going to go to a scrapper that's here, find the starter rib. Okay, that's got those resources back as well. Now, what we can now think of, looking at this map, is I know that there is other races out there. Quite simply, there is people out there that want to do me harm. And they will be coming to attack me. Now, we can't see them at the moment because we don't have a very large radar range. We've got some fog of war, but you can see it's not great. Now, let's go off the map. At the moment, this doesn't have a radar dish at all, which is something we need to build straight away, I think. Now, it's a start of 4. I think we will not actually build it on the fort. What we'll do is we're going to create or spawn in. Now, I have created a little unit for such a eventuality. So let's spawn him out there, and I'll hold him until he's 99% complete, and then hold him for another 10 seconds. Let's just get that done. There we go. Right, so we're going to pull in. Where have we got? It's going to be, if I remember correctly, which I don't, of all the items I've got. Recon balloon. So, not too high a recon balloon. Let's just pull in the recon balloon. Load recon balloon. Okay. Oops, now I need to put here a couple of repair tentacles, otherwise it doesn't actually build anything. One there and one there. There we go. So that's happily building our little simple recon balloon. So look at our forces. Recon balloon. Now we'll leave the recon balloon in this fleet because he's going to be, you know, moving around. And the recon balloon's only job is to go high and set the radar view so we can see a little bit further out. So once it's finished building, we'll have a look at it. Ignore any noises behind. So 87%, nearly done. There we go. Right, so let's go and have a look at it. There we go. So you can see, real simple. Let's just get on it. There we go. Right, so really simple. Radar dish. Simple engine. Just a little bit of guidance. So it has got an AI, which is we're going to put onto fleet move. No need to have anything else, and we're going to set it an area. So if we go to our map, set the recon balloon, and we should be able to. No, is that not? We take it out of play. Find my recon balloon. There we go. Recon balloon. Let's see. Oh, 435. So it will go now up to 435. Now you can already see the area is expanding. In actual fact, what we're going to do is we're going to move him even a little bit further. So we're going to say go over near this land here. Let's get some here, and no, it's not what I want. I want the recon balloon. I think we're going to have to take him out of the fleet. In fact, let's forces recon balloon, leave fleet. Yes, we're going to have you separate. It's not easy So that's it. Now I can do the recon balloon. It's got its own wing. Good. Right, so over here, 435 meters. Go for it, little balloon. So he's going out there now. Right, so we have done the starting part of our little area. Now, don't like this tilt. It's starting to annoy me. I think I'm going to have to... we have very little resources, but let's see if we've got enough just to put a sky turbine. Is it turbines or is it just sheer weight? I'm not sure why this is deciding to be not level. It's just annoying. Okay, so let's see if we can see anything on the map so far. No, okay, so nice big area now, or larger. So, we have a resource zone here. So if I hover over the resource zones, you'll notice on the top right the amount of items it has and how much it's growing. So this has got, this particular starting point has a lot of natural, reasonable metal. Oil is good actually here, a growth of 8. Scrap is really bad, and crystal, it has no crystal, which is one of the reasons I put the crystal trays in. Now we saw there, this one here, now let's have a look at this. It's not as good as we are in now in general, but it's a force of 3. So these people could start coming towards us at some point, and also we have something up the top. Now one good thing is they've got to come, if we look at the map, if they send any ships, they have to come through this gap, which is quite cool. But we're obviously going to want to take out this force enemy strength 3. Right, the other part of this is, where are we? I've lost where I am trying to go. Okay. Well, I'm looking for something. Well, my brain has suddenly lost all ability to think, as is normal for me sometimes. There we go, F1. Right, okay. So this is the faction chart and diplomacy. So the Deepwater Guard, which was the colours of those people on the map, are on aggressive expansion. So we look here and you can see they don't like us. You know, they're going to try and attack us because of this. We can insult them, and we may do that at some point just to make sure that we are definitely going to be killing them. They've got no real friends really, so if we do take them on, we're not really going to have any problems. Okay, now we've got 2 areas. We can be aggressive or defensive. The fortress here is my main area. If we lose the fort, then basically we have big problems. Now, one thing I need to put into this fort, and I'm not sure if I did, is I need to put a spawn area. So if I have anything happen to me, I have somewhere to come back to. So what we will do is, just in this corner, we'll put a spawn block. So under miscellaneous, we should have a origin block. Or is it, what else would it be? A heartstone? No, it must be a origin block, I'm guessing. Respawn beacon. Dolt. Right, so I'm going to put a nice little respawn beacon just there. So if ever I have to respawn in again, that's where I will be spawning on this vehicle. So just in case, if I use something against someone and it goes wrong. Right. We don't need NPCs on this. I don't think NPCs are actually really working very well on this, which is a disappointment, really. Right, so choices: defend my fort, or build ships to do defence. Now, I think I'll mix it a little bit. I think first of all, I want to build a bit of defences on this fort, so it can at least defend itself with some missiles if anyone should try and get close to it. Now, we'll just create a few, maybe a simple missile system near the main base. We have got already a shield built in, not very big, but it's a shield. We haven't got much engine power at the moment. We might have to just have a look at that as our systems come up, but we'll only activate that if we need to in a situation. Our engine's a basic engine, and this is only a basic fort. It could do with some reworking as materials become available. We may rebuild this engine just to be a bit more efficient, but just at the moment let's not worry about it. So let's do a nice simple missile system. Where should we do it? Where should we do it? Near the front. Well, say about here. So let's see. Let's start with the simplistic side of it. How big? Well, we want it to go out to about a bit more than 1,000 K. So that's going to mean about 4 or 5 blocks. Right. Well, how many are we going to want? Right. We'll want them as a vertical launch. I think I'm not going to worry about complex turrets or anything at this moment. I think we'll just create a vertical launch torpedo missile system. So 6 missiles. 6 missiles should be enough to take out. So that's the blocks. Now what the pads. Now we've put some missiles onto 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right, so that'll be the basis of it, and to take you through this building, normally I don't think I'll take people through the building process, because I think it's not necessary. I'll do that off screen, but today, so this is the control block which defines everything that will happen to these missiles, so that actually does the controlling of it. Now we put a staggered fire, because I like them to fire a little slowly, and if we do get any problems, we're going to put a friend or foe on there just in case. Now I'm actually going to increase the size of these. I'm going to go for size 8s. I think I like 8s. This is going to be some big noodle sticks. So that's size 8. Okay, right. So now, what else do I need now on here? Now, next bit is going to be some AI control. So we haven't got an AI on this ship yet. So let's go and put an AI in here. We're doing a general AI near the spawning block, just behind our seat. We'll put it, where should we put it? Engine's here. We'll put it directly behind our seat. So if our seat gets done, basically we're buggered. Right, so an AI mainframe. This basically was going to control our fort. Then we're going to need a AI card slot, which is where things are plugged into to make the computer effectively work. So we put that there. And what we're going to need? We are going to need a fortress card. That makes sense. And we're going to need a target prioritization, so it picks targets. Okay, so that looks good to me. That's the basis, and we'll also need a transmitter so that it can talk to items far away. See, now that's used a lot of crystal. You can see we're down to 13 crystal. Okay, now what do we need over here? We need a weapons controller. Now, a weapons controller basically transmits with the wirelessly with the mainframe and defines what distances we can attack at. Now, what we need to load is some missiles. So, what missiles shall we have? We've got 8 blocks here. Now, missiles are, I have quite a few that I've already previously used, and we're going to load one of them in, but modify them. So, missiles are based on some thrusters, which thrusters basically give it speed. Fins, you can obviously read these all through, but fins make it move around and direct it towards its target. And the fuel, because you need fuel for your thrusters. And welcome back. Little video error there, it decided to stop recording. So what have I done whilst I finished the missile system. I realised I made a mistake and forgot to put some missile blocks on there to link all of the different missiles to the controller. I also have created some ammo barrels underneath the water with a little bit of protection. So inside here we've got a load of ammo barrels. So under the water means they'll be protected a little bit from enemy fire rather than having them right next to us on the top. Also created a little mainframe. Whoops. Now the mainframe is the computer system. We see here. Mainframe just down here, and with a transmitter on top. There's the brains of the operation. Certainly not me, it's going to be the computers now, the brains. Yeah. So that's the mainframe, and we have a fortress controller card because we are basically, this is a fortress, and we have a target prioritization. So we can select our targets and hit them with the missiles when they come in. So we've got some missiles now, which go about 1,300, roughly, give or take a little bit. They're a bit big, but they'll do the job for this moment. We'll look at being a little bit more technical and making different missile systems. Now, only problem at the moment is if we did have people coming in and they started shooting missiles, apart from the fact we are still tipped up, which is annoying me still. Let me just try something just for a second. Is that going to straighten itself up? Yes, that seems to have straightened itself up. Put it back in play. Thank you. Are you aimed the right way still? Yes, you seem to be. Okay, so it's now level. Good. Alright, so the only problem is if they came along there, give us a shot and they'll knock that out. So we need a little bit of armour. Now, yes, I'm doing a lot of armouring with just wood at the moment because, you know, that's a resource we have plenty of. So, on there. We're just going to be fairly simple with this, I think. Don't need anything too extravagant. We're just putting a nice big shield of wood up. And we'll have one in the centre as well, just as a... There we go. Whoops. Don't like looks like this. Let's give it a little bit of a... There we go. I'm not totally problematic with my layouts. They're not exactly in the right place, but it's good to have them. They've got to have it looking reasonable. So, okay, as long as we're facing our enemies, we'll be okay. What we will do is we will actually just in case they do get round the side. We'll put a little bit of a barrier up on the side here as well. So this will be our missile station. We might increase this a bit in the future, maybe put some more missiles in there and extend this out and have it as our missile battery, if you want a better word. We'll have a think about that later, see how it goes, but that's going to do just for the moment. We've got plenty of resources, so natural resources is the least of our problems, so I'd rather have a more defence than not enough at this moment. Right. Yes. So, not ideal, but if anyone gets in close, they will not be easily be able to get in. So, yes. Should really put some around the back. If they get behind us, we are still screwed. But let's let's not worry about that for the moment. I think I've nailed it up. Right, let's just have a check of the map, make sure our strategic balloon is still working. Yes, right, so our next steps. Take over this resource point. Now, I'm not going to send the fortress out because that would be a bit of a waste. So, what I'm going to do on next episode is we're going to look at building a ship, just a simple ship, to have a go at taking over this resource point, and then we can build something to go in this resource point to quite happily take all of these minerals, or maybe even move Atlantis. Well, I'll have a thought about that. Atlantis itself, yes. Okay, so for now, subscribe. See you again. If you've got any comments, please comment. I'll try and respond. If you've got any good ideas, please post them. Bye for now.